Good morning, everyone. Today is Tuesday, January 19, 2021. My name is Karen Bodenschatz, and I serve as Associate Pastor at First Lutheran Church in Onalaska, Wisconsin, and this is my morning musing. So yesterday, Monday, the day when we commemorate Martin Luther King Jr. here in our country, First Lutheran Church launched our 21-day Racial Equity Challenge. Now, some of you may have heard about this, some of you haven't. You all may be wondering, what is this thing that we are doing at First Lutheran Church? We at First Lutheran recognize that fighting racism is not something that we just do once and it's over and we're good. But that in fact, this fight against racism is an ongoing process. We also recognize that it takes about 21 days to create a new habit. And as we consider at First Lutheran what it means that all are welcome, one of the conversations that we have committed ourselves to is around racism. We want how welcome affects all of us, and especially affects those that are people of color. We want that to be just a normal part of our thought process, to be a habit, that we would always be thinking about how can we fight racism? How can we be more anti-racist? How can we show the love and welcome of Jesus Christ in our community? And so we want to build that habit and are taking part in this 21-day Racial Equity Challenge. If you go to our website, you will see the banner there right on the very first page. If you click on that, it'll take you right to all the information that you need, including the schedule. So every day there is something that talks about racial equality and equity and the fight against racism. Oftentimes it's a YouTube channel, watching a YouTube video. Sometimes it's going to an event or reading an article, but there's something every day for 21 days. So yesterday there was a YouTube video to watch, about 12 minutes to watch, and an invitation to join in at Viterbo's Martin Luther King Day celebration. And so that is what I did yesterday. And I was thrilled to be a part of, or to be watching. I wasn't a part of it, but I was watching. I loved that Amanda Goodenough, who has been to our church to help us begin this conversation, received a service award and some recognition for the work that she's been doing in our community. And then the Reverend Dr. William Barber II from the Poor People's Campaign was the keynote speaker. And his keynote was powerful. But what's really been sticking in my head is part of an answer to the question, how can we be praying for you in your work? And he talked about being very keenly aware that being alive is a gift, especially when so many around him have lost a huge number of their family to the coronavirus, to COVID-19. And so he was talking about wanting to be able to understand why he's alive and what work he has before him, which in and of itself was pretty profound given all the work that he does. But he said a line that has really stuck with me, because he was talking about the work that all of us have to do communally by this point. And he said, how are we going to use our breath when so many others have lost theirs? It took my breath away, no pun intended at all, to consider that question. How are we going to use our breath when so many have lost theirs? Now, of course, he was referring to the nearly 400,000 people who have lost their lives to the coronavirus. We'll just say coronavirus. But as I was thinking about this more and thinking about what I wanted to say to you today, and encourage you to be a part of this challenge is that there are so many others who have lost their breath, who have given their all, and lost their lives in their fight for justice, lost their lives at the hand of people who should have cared for them, should have protected them. There are so many that have lost their lives. And we benefit from that, we as white people. I think of all of the slaves that were killed unjustly. I think of all of those who have worked for racial justice in our country. I think of all of the ways that systems have been built in our country to oppress people of color, and to then privilege me as a white person. And so this call, this question that Reverend Barber posed has really got me thinking, how am I going to use my breath to fight for justice, to fight for love and truth and mercy and grace in our country? I don't know quite yet, except to keep talking, to encouraging you, to being open and vulnerable about my own journey, and my own ways that I'm building the habit of fighting for racial equity and justice. So I hope that you avail yourselves of this 21-day challenge. It won't take much of your time. It's well worth your time. And maybe at the end of it, we will be a better congregation in preaching and teaching the love of Christ for all people. Until then, dear ones, be well, be kind, for Christ is with you.